Hello and welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. I'm Erin and I'm here today with the creative design team, and we're bringing you creative ways to use busy pattern papers. Today we're going to create a scrapbook layout, and we're going to be focusing on different ways to use busy pattern paper. I have the Sawyer collection on my desk, and as you can see I have a lot of scraps. I've already made several process videos here on my channel. If you have not seen those yet, I'll leave them linked in the description box below. But busy pattern papers can be overwhelming. You know, this was a 12 by 12 and I think it's beautiful, but as a whole it can be kind of, like I said, overwhelming, and the other side is also very busy. But I'm going to create a layout and share a few tips on how we can incorporate this onto our projects without it overpowering everything else. I also have the You're a Classic stamp and thin cut sets because I'm going to be documenting some photos of my mom and I at a classic car show. We go every year. It's absolutely beautiful. It's held at a winery, and truth be told, we kind of enjoy going and looking at the scenery at the winery almost more than the cars, but it's always a good time. So I have the mint color in this car, which is going to accent the mint color in this paper pack really nicely. And I thought I would make some fun custom embellishments with the You're a Classic car stamp. So I have a very linear design today, so I'm going to bring in my VersaMat, and that's going to help me get everything straight from left to right. I've already put a couple removable glue dots on the corners, and I'm bringing in a sheet of white daisy cardstock. Whenever I'm working with a busy pattern, I really like to have a lot of white space so your eye has some, somewhere to rest. So we're going to start this layout on a sheet of white daisy. Now I already have all my strips cut, so this is our busiest pattern paper, and the best thing you can do is cut it down so it's not such a big piece. These are 1.5 inches by 12, and I'm going to create a pop of color with this fun pattern paper at the top and the bottom. Since we were at a winery, this just really, I know it's a floral element, but it really reminds me of a little cluster of wine grapes there. And then I've cut a 1/4 inch by 12 strip of the Harbor cardstock, and I'm going to use that to, just close off the transition between the pattern paper and the white cardstock. And that just really gives your eye a place. It's like a visual break. These two pattern papers are less busy, but we're going to use them to bring in some color. So this one is the mint pattern paper. And these were already cut, so I might cut them down further, but I'm thinking right about there. And then this one, I love this Harbor color. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so I don't want to waste that pattern paper, so I'm going to actually end up trimming that down. I have 1 inch, so we're going to say 1 inch by 12, and then this one is 2 by 12. I also have a sheet of mint cardstock here. This one is 4.5 by 12. Sometimes this is such a great way to create because you just work with what you have on hand. I didn't make cuts, I just grabbed these, and then we're just going to kind of develop the layout from there. So I went ahead and got all of these layers adhered off camera, and now I'm ready to bring in my photos. The two on the outer edges here are 3x4s, and this is basically a 4x4. I've matted those on Harbor cardstock. That dark color is going to help those photos stand out. I am on a mission to kind of kill this kit, so I have done pretty well. There's very few stickers left over. I was thinking about using this title just to use it up, but honestly, it's a little bit too whimsical for the look I'm going for. It matches it, we could say treasured moments, everyday moments, it would work, but the look is just not what I'm going for. There are yellow in the pictures, there is yellow in the photos, so I'm going to accent with that. This is a sticker from the coordinating sticker sheet. Now, it's not quite 12 inches long, and I do want it to go to the end. So I know I'm going to make a cluster right here. So what I can do is easily cut this just right in this area because it's going to be hidden behind the clusters. Now, whenever I use stickers, I remove the adhesive so that I can move them around like die cuts. And then I just, adhere the adhesive right back into place, and it's not a big deal. So now this will go all the way to the edge, and I think that's going to look better. And then, like I said, we're going to hide that with a cluster of embellishments. So there's all these floral pieces off of the sticker sheet. And to be honest with you, by themselves, they look very random. You're like, it's just a quarter of a flower or 3 petals. You know, they're not an entire flower in and of itself. But when you layer these together, they really make a stunning piece. So whenever I'm layering, I love to both, you know, tuck things behind and then on top of my photos. And I really feel like that brings the design together and gives it more depth and just more interesting. I'll go ahead and reinforce that adhesive once I get these all into place. So I'm going to use these to kind of just drape down over the photo here. And let's see, we'll tuck this one kind of over here. And then we can use the top piece to bring all those pieces together. Hopefully that's making sense. Let's see. I have a few more pieces. There is nothing better than using up an entire kit. It is just so satisfying. I don't want to cover up too much of my photo. So I think that's going to look good. I always like to repeat clusters. So I'm going to save a few flowers and then maybe make a cluster down over here. There's also this word sticker that says besties. And I thought that would be fun to add in that area right there because my mom is definitely one of my besties. I'm going to create my title with the stamp of the month. This is called Here's a Story, and this is so cool for scrapbooking. So every month close to my heart has a stamp of the month promotion, and you can get this for $5 with a qualifying purchase of $50, or if you're one of my VIPs, you can get it for free with your qualifying purchase. And like I said, this is an awesome stamp set for scrapbookers, travelers notebooks, journaling, really cool stuff here. There's different brackets or frames that you can stamp and then fill them in. So here's the story. I love you most. Together we are family. Home where the heart is. Seems like yesterday. A favorite memory. I want to remember this, and cherished moments in time. And then we have some numbers on here, and then heritage, faith, family, and tradition. Super usable phrases. Like I said, journaling and traveler's notebooks would be absolutely perfect too. The size is just right for that. So I'm going to lay down a piece of white daisy cardstock. I am stamping this frame in the Harbor color here. So we'll get that nice and inky, stamp it down. And I love how we can customize our ink colors so that this coordinates with our layout. Now I'm going to use the mulberry, and I chose cherished moments in time. Let me make sure that's not upside down. Actually, it wouldn't matter because we would just flip our frame over. So we're going to stamp that in mulberry right in the center there. Perfect. I love it. I'll go ahead and get this fussy cut out off camera so you don't have to watch me cutting that out. And just like that, we have a little decorative title piece, and I think that's going to work really well. So let me move those out of the way, and we're going to bring in the You're a Classic car stamp. I'm using this one up in the upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to stamp it on white daisy. This time I'm using intense black ink because I am going to color this in with my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers, so we need an alcohol marker-friendly ink. This does give a really nice stamped impression, and the marker colors we're going to use light yellow, ice gray shades, and ice gray blend. You do want to make sure that that is dry before you do any coloring. Now, there are definitely different ways of doing this. I've watched a lot of videos, and kind of my recommendation is just practice. I'm starting with the darkest shade, and I'm going to put that color where I feel like the shadows would be. So in this case, the inside of the wheel wells, the bottom of the car, and then kind of along some of the lines where maybe the car might have kind of a bend in the angle of the body of the car. So I like to do it this way and then move to the medium and then the light. I have seen tutorials where they recommend that you color in the entire image with the light and then add your accents with the medium and dark. And to me, I kept running out of the lightest color and I would still have the medium and the dark. So I prefer to do it this way, and it seems to work much better for me. Now these markers are refillable, so do keep that in mind. And I will go over it with the lightest shade back into the other colors to make sure that you get a nice blended look. I've said this before, but I really enjoy using my markers, and since I got them, I use my stamp sets a lot more because it just really makes these little images more interesting, and you can customize them to your layout. For the tires, I'm using the Ice Gray shades and Ice Gray blend. I chose these as opposed to black because using just a lighter shade than black is still going to give you the look of black tires, but it's going to allow the detail that the artist has incorporated into the stamped image to show through. If you are enjoying today's video, I would love it if you would tap the like button. That tells YouTube that you are appreciating the content. So now I've moved to the lightest ice gray shades, and I am coloring in the front bumper and the grille of the car and then the insides of the tire, and that's just going to give it a little bit of shadowing and make it look more like chrome or metal. And then I'll use the dark to kind of go in on just the very outer edges of the bumper. So having it dark on the two outside edges and lighter in the center is going to give it more of a rounded, curved appearance. So we do have the coordinating die cut, so I'll go ahead and get this die cut off camera. So now we have our cute little custom embellishment here, and let me just scoot this back into the center. We'll move these little floral bits and get this situated there. So there's a lot of grass in the foreground of the photo, and that is a perfect spot for my title to overlap. And then I'm just going to kind of add more to this title with these floral pieces and the car. So we're just kind of nestling them together so they all feel like they belong. I do have a few more photos that I wanted to add, so I grabbed a 3x4 flip flap and I'm going to slide this one in, and I already put this together. It's another picture, and I had another car that I cut and die cut and colored there, and it didn't quite fit in the 3x4 pocket card, so I just cut the tail end of that off, and I thought it looked kind of fun in there. So when you flip that up, you see more photos, and then I have another one of my mom sitting on a rock wall by the creek, and then I'm going to add my journaling. So this is the clear Avery labeling tape, and you just run this right through your printer. I am totally loving this method of journaling. So it just disappears into the background. So I'm going to situate this so it will be behind the photo. I'm just making sure that's going to fit before I smooth it all down, and that looks perfect. See how it looks like it's just printed right on the background? So let me tack my photo down above the journaling. And I should have bumped my journaling down a little bit. That's okay. I'm just going to trim up my photo and make it work. Now we can put this right over the top when we tuck it into the page protector. These interactive elements with the flip flaps are just tons of fun, and I really enjoy using them. So as you can see, we have definitely used some very busy pattern paper on this layout, but because we have white space in between and then some solid cardstock behind the photos, it really allows those photos to be the focal point of this design, and the busy pattern paper complements the layout rather than detracting from it. I hope you guys were inspired to tackle some of those busy pattern papers in your collection, and if you are looking for more ideas, then you're definitely going to want to tune in. Tomorrow, Janice is going to have something amazing for you, and you can catch the entire Creative Design Team Busy Pattern Paper playlist right here. See you next time. Bye.